Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to take you through how I like to use the GelMoment filing block. So there are 4 large surfaces and 2 smaller surfaces, one on each end. Each surface has the grit number and also the general use. So I'm going to take you through how I like to use it, what I use each side for, and also how it compares to the file that we have at the moment. So on every surface, you're going to find a number noting the grit of that specific surface. The smaller the number, the heavier the grit. So the heaviest grit that we have on this filing block is 120. I like to use the 120 grit for thinning my polish before removal. So I have on 3 coats here of a very grown out set of dance shoes. So I'm going to thin the polish before I put on my remover. So it's going to speed up the process of removal. If you are switching over from salon and you have actual gel nails or acrylic or dip nails, you can use this grit as well to thin the product that you have. I personally do not like to use this on naked nails. I find it very aggressive. If you have super long nails and you're wanting to file down the length, that's okay. I find that when you get into the corners of your nail with this heavy grit, it's too aggressive and it files away too much nail and it can really weaken the corners and it can lead to breakage. So I'm going to thin this polish and remove it, and then we'll get on to shaping the nail. So now that my nail is completely free of polish, I'm ready to take off some length. If you have quite a bit of length to remove, you could use the 120 if you don't mind the aggressive grit that it's going to have on the end of the nail. Just work very slowly. It is quite aggressive, and once that length is gone, there's no going back. I personally prefer, when I need to remove quite a bit of length, I like to use the 150. If you aren't wanting to remove a bunch of length, I do recommend using the 180 grit. It is the grit that's currently on our files right now. The grittier side is 180, so this is great for filing and shaping a natural nail. So I'm going to go in and take off some length. The recommended technique for filing is to file in one direction. It will limit the amount of back and forth friction that the edges of the nail will have, which can lead to peeling. My nails are personally very thick and very hard, so it takes me way too long to file if I go in one direction, and I have no peeling. So I basically just work the file back and forth, as you can see, on the tip and on the sides to get the desired length and shape. Now that I have my nail at the desired length, I want to taper in the sides. I'm going for an almond shape. So you want to tuck that file really nice and tight to the entire edge of the nail. It's going to remove the nail evenly. So at about a 45-degree angle, I'm going to repeat this process on both sides, and it's going to narrow in the sides, creating a wider base and a narrower tip. The corners of this file are quite tight, so I never had any issues positioning the file to get my desired shape. So I'm tapering both sides in slowly, making sure they're balanced, and then once I have the sides narrowed, I will go across the tip, making sure that it too is tapered and nice and round for my almond shape. Now that the nail shape is complete, I'm taking that same 180 grit underneath the nail just to make sure that that space is completely clean and free of any nail that's been filed down. We want to make sure the underside of the nail is clean so we can get a nice cap. So now that I have the length and the shape that I'm after, I'm going to take the 220 fine grit to buff the surface of the nail and to just smooth out the edges of the nail. It's also the same grit as the gray side of our current file. When it comes to buffing, less really is more. Use a light hand and work slowly. Over buffing can very quickly lead to thinning the nail, which we want to avoid. If you do have problematic ridges, I recommend trying the Scentsy file. The nail is now buffed. You can see it has a matte-like appearance. It's free from any texture or ridges that were on the nail. The edges of the nail are also smoothed out, allowing you a nice clean cap when you're applying your polish. So now moving on to the ends of the square, we have the 600. This is a super fine grit. I find this really great for damaged nails. So if you have super thin or bendy nails, I find this grit really nice. It still does do the trick that a buffer needs to do to get rid of texture and to also prep the nail appropriately for polish to adhere to the nail. So you would use it just the same as you would with the other buffer. It's just, you can even hear it has a different sound. It has much less grit to it, but it will still allow the nail to be buff nice and smooth and still give you that matte-like appearance. So the last end, we're going up in numbers to 3,000. This is the polisher side. So this is great for a naked nail. This would not be great for if you are wanting to put polish on over top. Our nails do need a little bit of grip for the polish to adhere properly. So if you are having a break from polish, or if you can't wear polish to work or anything like that, but you want your nails to really shine, using this on a naked nail is really going to pull the shine to the surface of the nail. So it will make it look like you have a coat of polish on. So I went from a matte buff nail to a polished, shiny nail. After every removal, I do like to apply the nail and cuticle oil. So I apply a healthy amount to both the skin and the nail, and I let it soak in for 10 minutes. And then I scrub my hands with soap and water. And then before I'm ready to apply polish, I give the nail a full cleanse. And then you're ready for polish. Now that you're done filing, buffing, and polishing your nails, you will find that you will get some residue on your block, just like you would with your regular nail files. The best you can do is tap it off onto your work area. The excess will fall off. If you have the GelMoment bamboo brush, I find just a sweep off like this will remove the majority of the product, making it look almost as good as new. So that's how I like to use my filing block. I hope you guys found it helpful. If so, give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you all very soon in my next video. Thanks for watching.